All right, fellas. Just got some staging in the trailer. We're gonna go rip down a little chimney today and get ready to rebuild it. It's not typically how I throw it in the trailer, but it'll work. We don't need a lot of staging for this job, so I think I got everything I need, and yeah, we're just gonna go set up on the roof. It's kind of a steep roof, and Peyton's with me today, so that's kind of nice. We're out of Peyton's got a day off of school, so we're gonna take advantage of him today. He's got today off and he's got Monday off, so we're gonna see if we can do a chimney rebuild. But I don't know if you can see the sky. It's gonna start raining at some point today, so we're probably not gonna do any rebuilding today, but maybe on Monday. Ryan, back on the A team today. Peyton doesn't have school today. Teacher workshop. Peyton, what time did you get in last night?
To bed?
What time did you get in the house last night?
Oh, like 1:20.
1:20? What were you doing out so late last night?
Like one go.
Oh my gosh. You think you're going to be able to work today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to slow you down any? Get no sleep? Okay. You don't feel tired. Your eyes are shut over there.
Aren't they always shut when I'm driving?
Alright. It's not going to slow you down though.
No.
Alright, get some sleep. You got 20 more minutes. Little pro tip for you guys. We're trailering today. I don't know if you can see the trailer in the rear view, but just a second here. So the trailer is pretty much empty. It just has a little bit of scaffolding in it, and so not a lot of weight. And you might think that you don't have to use the trailering mode, and you don't have to. So when I'm carrying a lot of weight, I definitely have the trailering mode on. And then also my truck has an exhaust brake. So I push both the buttons. The exhaust brake on a diesel is awesome when you have a lot of weight, but the trailering button, anytime you put a trailer on, just hit your trailering button. It changes the gear ratio a little bit in the transmission and how it shifts. So you might lose a little bit in mileage, but what it does is it actually ups the electrical current to help charge the batteries in your trailer while you're trailering. So, same thing for snow plowing. It ups the current in your truck and it helps out with things. So if you're plowing snow or you're trailering, might be a good idea to hit that tow haul button. All right. Here she is. We're gonna be setting up scaffolding right up next to this, right in this little nook here, this foundation jog. Gonna go straight up, put some roof scaffolding on the roof, and then we'll get ready to demo. This one's nice because we can actually back the trailer right up to it, so makes things easier. This one's not very tall at all. We got 3 frames set up and we're already up to kind of where we need to be working. This roof's pretty steep. I'm going to throw some chimney brackets on right here. One of the things I was going to mention is, Peyton, are you handing those up?
No.
You can hand them up. Just put them on this layer right here if you want. These things store water sometimes and just spill all over you. Yeah, one of the things I was going to mention is someone was asking about what kind of frames I use. These are Vanguard manufactured 6-foot 4-inch frames, okay? I see a lot of guys using 5-foot frames, okay? nobody's under 5 foot tall, you know. It is so nice to be able to work on under these frames, because look, I'm 5'10", and you can see I've got plenty of room to get under this plank when you're walking between sections, you know. On commercial jobs, we'd use walk-through frames where you can walk through the whole, you know, because you have scaffolding the whole way down the building, and you got to be able to walk through them. You can't be bent over. The 5 foot frames are miserable to work with. Okay, you're banging your head all the time. You're bent over all the time, and then these bars don't make sense on them either. These ones are set up in a way where, okay, we're actually like, if I want to work with my feet on this level and put my stock on this level, it's at a perfect height. Those 5 footers, you're never at a perfect height for your stock. You're either way too high or way too low. They just don't have the spacing on the bars where you need them. So as far as efficiency goes, don't ever buy 5 foot frames. 6 foot 4 inch frames only, and then you can walk under them and do whatever you want. Like you can't be bent over working the whole time. So now I'm going to put these on the roof here. I'm going to use my pitch hoppers to get out there, get under some shingles, lag bolt them in. And I'm going to try to be at the same, plan it out so I'm at the same working height as where these bars work out. So we'll see if I can make that happen.
Let me see it.
Huh?
I did it backwards. So what?
Paying.
I wasn't paying attention. I know it.
Dude, you're 18 years old.
I can tell from here that I did it backwards.
Are you telling me a grown man put that bit in backwards?
I wasn't paying attention. I grabbed the right
What
bit.
were you doing?
I was working.
What were you paying? Nothing?
What?
You weren't paying attention.
I was working.
You were working. Oh my gosh, dude.
That's the right bit.
It's the right one. I can't use it like that.
I know.
You know that's embarrassing, right?
No.
Everybody on the internet's gonna know now. I hope this doesn't haunt you for the rest of your life.
It's because I'm tired. Actually.
Well, this is just one of those setups that it's really tough because I got this other roof coming in and I don't have enough room. I try to put it in up there and I don't know, nothing's working out because I only have 7 foot brace on me today. I didn't bring an 8 footer or anything bigger, or I might have been able to get a 5 footer. Wouldn't have worked there either. But yeah, I kind of forgot about not having enough room to put my chimney brackets there. But look who's the MVP again. Look what I got here. Couple pitch hoppers for the win. Straddle brace for the win. This cross brace wasn't working here, so I got the straddle brace in there. And then I do have these leveling jacks. These are for the coupling pins. So they just slide right on top of the coupling pins, and they're like, you know, just like the leveling jacks on the ground. And that's going to help me get my roof scaffolding because I'm going to have 2 frames here. It's going to get me to the same height as whatever my platform is there. It kind of sucks working at 2 different heights. So this way, when I jump, my foot planks will all be the same height. My stock will all be the same height, or real close. Without these, I'd be battling a bit. So this is how these are fastened on, right? See, I'm up under the shingle here, and I've just got some GRKs in there, 3 GRKs. Put as many as you like. If you get good wood under there, like a framing member or something, you can get away with 1 if you want, and it'd probably be fine. But sometimes you don't hit the framing members right on, and so you put a couple more in there just to be safe. All right, we are set up. It's kind of the setup kind of sucks, but we're not going to put a lot of weight on this side. Obviously, we're just on the pitch hoppers, and it's kind of a wonky setup. So, but it works. We'll keep all the weight on that side. You know, maybe a mud board and a couple tongs of brick over here at a time. But I just need room to be able to, you know, walk around here and lay the chimney as we come back up with it, or as we're doing the demo. You can see this is all made from used brick. Came out of a mill building somewhere. Some of these brick are a little punky, so they're absorbing water and spalling faces. You know, we're holding water. They've got this crown coat on here, this rubberized stuff, to protect the chimney crown. And you know, it works until it doesn't. And then what it does is it holds the moisture in there underneath, so it can't actually come out. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe you could replace a lot of the brick in here and keep this chimney going, but we're just gonna do the whole thing. She wants to just do it and be done with it. So they got nails through the flashing and it's all siliconed up. This roof is a new roof from last fall. It's hard to tell, they've already tracked up on it, probably when they were installing it, but yeah. You know what? She told me this roof was new, but I don't know. I don't know if it's new. She said that roof was new. She said she thought she did the whole thing at the same time. Let's see. This goes to a wood stove, and that she likes to run in the wintertime. And so we're going to rebuild this back up. We're going to check the flues, probably replace a couple flues, and build it back up with new brick, new flashing. We're going to pull the shingles, do it how we typically do it, make sure no water's coming in. She did have water coming in through the ceiling, so I think that's maybe why they came up and put all the silicone back on it. See, yeah, they've got the clear silicone, yellowish silicone. Yep, we're gonna start the demo. It's gonna rain today, so we're gonna just demo. We don't have a boiler or anything, so we'll be able to just cover this hole over with some a tarp or something. Come back on Monday and start building. Well, I haven't seen this trick in a while. If you ever get an idea to fill your chimney with sand, just know it's a bad idea. Sand stays moist, and people might think, oh yeah, it's great, it's real fire resistant. Well, it stays moist, and it never wants to completely dry out, and so your chimney stays wet, and then it starts blowing apart. I mean, this one didn't blow apart like some of them would, probably because this one was used pretty often in the wintertime. But when you stop using it and you stop driving this moisture out of there, you know, then your chimney's going to start blowing apart. Don't ever fill your chimney with sand, or any loose fill for that matter. You can't fill your chimney with loose fill. You need an airspace or something like that. Imagine if, say this is a boiler or a wood stove running, all of a sudden the flue cracks and a piece falls out of the flue, and this stuff just it literally falls into the flue, fills your flue up, and then your wood stove or your boiler has nowhere to vent because it's full of sand all of a sudden. That's why we don't put loose fill inside of a chimney. Yeah, so this old timer, he put the sand in the whole way, except for, like, it seems where every one of these flue joints meets, he's filled it solid all the way around. And you think it'd be good, you know, the sand was like an insulator, it was good for expansion, but you know, it's not soaking wet, but you can tell it's all moist. And if this, let me show you, see how you kind of clump it together. Anyhow, I can tell you it feels moist. And that stuff can freeze in the wintertime and just expand. But, you know, at every flue joint, he's got it mudded in solid and doesn't allow for expansion either in the flue. So we know that's not a good thing. But we're almost down. Another 30 minutes, we'll have this pretty much all out of here. And then we're going to just waterproof it for the night and go find some brick. This is as far as it's going to go down here. You can see that this last course of brick here, I can't take that off because chances are the bottom of this course is actually close to being inside that room. I can see that there's some drywall there, or some, I don't know, maybe there's some wood planking under there too. I'm not sure, but I can't take this course off because I think I might be into the house, so I have to be careful with that stuff. So I just have to rack back instead of bringing it down flat. I just have to rack it back a little bit. This should be low enough on this. Oh, look, see the raindrops. Raindrops are just starting now. We just beat the rain. So now we're done for the day. I'm gonna take this lead and fold this lead in like this. I have some underlayment. I'm gonna get it up under the shingle there, tuck it up under, and then just lay it over this. This goes to a wood stove, so she's not using it right now. Not cold enough yet. Not today anyway, but just looking at the lead, the guy actually did decent job on the lead. Got good coverage. And the one thing that I notice is that it's not very high in the back. So, I mean, this is a steep roof, so it's just a little beyond a 12 pitch. It's like a 13, 12. So, yeah, this piece comes really close to this sheathing, right? Well, when they did the roof, it's very hard to lift that lead and get ice and water shield or something under there. So I like to go a little higher, leave room for the ice and water shield on a re-roof or something so they can get under the lead to get ice and water shield. They were able to get it on the back right here because there's enough room here. But yeah, you can see this piece of lead in the back didn't get much coverage on the corner because it just stopped here. This piece of 8-inch lead stops here. But you know, really, he needed that next piece, one more piece of lead. So, because you can imagine that 8-inch piece of lead comes down right here like that. You really need that extra piece so it comes down up here, higher than everything else. This probably needs a little work. How he did this. I always like to have an apron piece there bent on top of the peak, and then this piece of counter flashing will go over it. They do have a cricket, which is nice. You don't see a cricket on a chimney this small too often. It's not required by code, but it definitely helps out. All right, so yep, just as it's starting to rain, we're gonna clean this up real quick. Get this hole buttoned up so no water can get in here for the weekend, and we'll be back at it on Monday. Right?
Yeah.
You gonna be well rested on Monday? You're gonna stay out all night again?
I'm gonna stay out. Let's leave early though.
Oh, you gotta leave early on Monday.
I already told you that.
Oh, what are you gonna do on Monday?
Go to the hip.
Never mind. I don't want to know. Just finishing in the nick of time. Rain's starting to come down. Got this stuff on. That should be watertight for the weekend. The flashing's still under there to help if any water did get under that, but I should stay pretty dry like this. Now, time to get out of here. You ready to pull up all that brick? Yeah? Okay. This is how we hook the tongs on. See? Like that. The handle can't jiggle it around, and it goes straight down. This is how they go onto the brick tongs, like this. You gotta have a little piece of tape there just so it doesn't end up trying to slide down the handle. This is the best way that I've found to do this over the years. And I've seen people have all kind of weird setup on their hooks, but literally doing it this way is just so simple, and it seems to work the best. It's not my way, but it's definitely the way I like doing it. I didn't make it up, put it that way. Man, I'm actually pretty good at working one-handed. Try pulling that up one-handed. You think you could do it?
Yeah.
You can't pull it up one. Oh, you gotta use your feet? Use your foot.
Like,
Oh my God, you just destroyed my tailgate.
they probably hit up into the stadium, though.
Try it.
You want me to? Well, I think it's old ball.
Oh my God. There's no way. Peyton, that was awesome. Peyton, that was the coolest thing you've ever done on the job site. I totally didn't think you could do it. Okay, here we are. Monday morning, we're gonna start building on this chimney. Just got some brick up. Took a while this morning to go get material. We need to get some brick and mortar and some flues. So I'm just getting prepped up here to start laying on this thing, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about pulling some of this lead out. I left it on, so in case it did rain, it's just one extra added layer. But I was actually just looking at it here, and look at this piece here. Well, you can see from this side, look how they notched that piece of lead up so it would hide under the shingle here. They notched that up, but look at, they've got it siliconed here. And then on this side, like they've got it cut flush. It doesn't even go under the shingle. It doesn't even go under. They cut it flush with the roof and just siliconed it in. You know, it looks like some of these other ones go under. I don't know why they would ever cut that one flush, and then after they did that, they didn't even try to fix it. They just siliconed it. Terrible. Well, we've been at it for a couple hours now. We get a decent start, even though, you know, we were late after getting material and getting set up and stuff. So this is about how it's going. I got these profiles on. Just put them on there with some quick clamps. You know, I do stick work up until I get to a certain point, and then I throw these on there. This way I can take them off real quick, join up, put them back on. All parged up inside. I'm just getting ready to put that first flue on. Yeah, that's about how it's gonna go. I'll finish the chimney tomorrow. I'll work for a little while longer, get up a little higher, and then I'll probably finish the brickwork tomorrow and then start on the lead. I left all these shingles on because, you know, no point in pulling them back now. You know, I'm going to put ice and water shield and edge metal around this whole thing like I typically do. It was leaking before, so anytime there's a water problem chimney like that, I always like to just pull back the shingles, put some edge metal down, ice and water shield, make sure it's never going to leak again. That's why I'm putting the lead on afterwards, not today. Yep. So everything's all parged up behind here. Underneath, as I come through, I kind of like parge up because you can't joint back there. Just make sure everything's full. And you know, one of the reasons why I use these story poles is they just they come up so true. If you just clamp them on here, you see a little gap, but the brick is touching here. The brick touches everywhere, and it just comes up so straight, right? You can't help but come up straight. So on a pencil chimney, what happens is there's not a lot of wiggle room back and forth here. So when you're plumbing it up with your level on this side and you tap this brick here, all of a sudden you're pushing this one out over here, and you think you're good until you come back to plumb the next course, and you're like, oh, well, how'd that brick get out over here on this side? And when you put these story poles up, it kind of eliminates that. although they are in the way, like when I'm laying, they're in the way, like, but the benefits just outweigh, you know, it's just, I can come up nice and straight, nice and plumb, and I know that the brickwork's just going to stay true, and I'm not going to be tapping one side out or whatever. You know, it's just, they're just really nice like that, where you're not like, you know, because normally I'd have my level here, and I'd tap on my level, and then I'd kick a brick out on that side. And that's just how the pencil chimneys go. They're kind of a pain. There's not enough joints in them to absorb too much tapping. All right, we're getting up here. Peyton's mad because he wants to go hang out with his girlfriend. We're here late.
Not bad.
Anyhow, I got this flue on a bit of a lean that way because I'm trying to get it back to center because it's trying to come up straight on this left side. And by the time I get the next one on, I want it to be perfectly straight. We just got flush with the roof here. So if you can tell, if you sight down that brick just like this, you can tell that we just barely got flush with it. So usually that means we have to go 2 more feet to be done, which is about 9 more courses and a little bit of flue. So, but in this case, I always count the courses of brick that need to go up, and I make sure that I get at least the same amount of courses as we ripped off. So we had 32 total courses. I will make sure there's 32 total courses. If there's 33 to make it code compliant, then that's where we'll have to go. Sometimes these brick will be a little thinner than the last, you know, brick that we ripped down. We'll have to go an extra course. But yeah, we're just gonna lay a few more brick here today, and Peyton's itching to get out of here.
Not anymore. It's too late now.
Too late now. Yeah, Peyton's a little depressed today.
How?
We should go see how he's doing over here. Peyton, look at these planks. Make sure you watch these planks. Look, the plank have to be up again. Slide it that way. Like that.
That'd be better.
Oh, it's not so bad, not so bad. Getting a flat joint on it. Yeah. Yeah, the mud's not setting up very fast today, huh?
No, it's cool. Where's the brush?
There's one there, one on the other side. Yeah, it was a little chilly today. It was 39 degrees this morning when we set out, so warmed up a little bit, but the mornings have just definitely started getting chilly. Okay, this is how we're leaving it. Sun is going down. I got a couple more courses, so we're just a couple over the peak here. All jointed up. It's tough when it gets a little cooler like this. The brickwork doesn't want to set up very quick, so yeah, when you join it, you end up getting some smudging. But you know, we already know with this brick that we're going to acid wash, so the big thing is just get the bulk off the brick and don't worry about the haze. So when you brush it and smooth it out, just, you know, it's going to haze a little bit because the mortar's kind of so damp, but just a little bit of acid wash and that will come right off. Even this stuff will come right off, but these, like if you just have a little bit of a smudge there, just take it off while it's still wet. And then you won't even have to do anything with the stone or whatever. Like when you hit this with acid, all that film will come off and you'll just rinse it off with a hose. And it will be nice and clean. So I just jumped these planks up for the night just to kind of put something over the back of the chimney and over that side of the peak. So if it does get a little bit of rain, it's going to pitch everything out of here. It'd be nice if this was a little wider, but that's pretty good. That should keep any water out for the night anyway. It doesn't look like rain at all overnight, so I'm not too concerned. It's just a little added something in case it sprinkles. Boy, it was another chilly morning this morning. It was down to I think almost 40 degrees. I just got these 4 courses on here, and so I'm almost done. I'm trying to get this thing back to where it was. It was 32 courses high from the bottom. And if it was also 2 feet over the peak. So we're actually going to be both. It works out to be the same. So I've got 3 more courses of brick to go on. And that will put me 2 feet over the peak as well. So now I'm going to start my bump out. And all I use for my bump out to measure it, so I don't have to keep measuring, every time you have to pull out your tape measure when you're bricklaying, it kind of slows you down. So I use a Marshalltown trowel. I guess a pretty ugly one, but I just use this little plastic piece at the end of my trowel. That's what you use for tapping on stuff. I call it the Marshalltown bump. I've always called it that, and it's nice when you work with a couple guys, like if you've got 2 masons on this job and you both have Marshalltowns, you can just hold your trowel flat against and get your, take your brick, yikes, shoot, take your brick and put it right to that line and do it that way and turn it this way and do it the same. And I just do all the corners like that, and I'm going to bump out 3 times. It's about 5/8 of an inch on this trowel, and that usually works pretty good for me. So I got 3 courses to go, and then I can get that last flue on and get the crown wash on. I can start working on that lead. So, when I lay brick, I get the joints pretty full. I'm probably not I do okay with it. Sometimes I get some holes, but this is the outside. Yeah, so there you go. I get a little hole there. And, a little bit there. Nobody's ever completely perfect with it. But what I haven't mastered is the inside. You can see that the inside on mine, I always end up having a little bit of more of a hole. And it's pretty much all the way around. And so this is why I parged the inside of the brickwork on the inside the whole way up. I don't want these holes in here. Who knows how deep that crevice actually goes. If you peel it back, I mean, that goes in there at least an inch. So on a chimney, we need 4 inches of solid masonry. And that includes the mortar joints as well. So what I'm trying to avoid is, especially out here where we're in the elements, is water having an easy path to get in, right? We want the water to have to absorb in the full width of that brick before it's inside of the chimney. The way that some people do it, that water only has to absorb in an inch, because the whole back of their, they do clipped head joints, and the whole back of their brickwork, it's all empty. So water can just get in. And so we're trying to avoid water problems. That's why I always take the time and just parge up the whole inside of the brickwork as I go. Some people ask me why I do it, but the main reason why I do it is for water protection out here. And the other reason I do it is for fire protection and to meet code requirements, to have that 4-inch nominal thickness that we need. Okay, so that's the first corbel that's on. Got 2 more to go. One of the things that I like to do when I am bumping out. Oh, look at these raindrops. No, I'm not set up to handle any rain here. I hope it passes over. I like to make these head joints tighter, just so it allows you to get a little bigger piece in when you've got to put these small pieces in. This is about as small as I like to go with my pieces. On this side, it's I don't like to put a cut up against a half brick. I normally do not do that if I can avoid it. But it's either I slide this brick to the middle and put 2 little slivers in, one on either side, or do this. So I just chose to put the bigger piece in there, and I'll show you how the next courses go over that. So I don't usually get too bent out of shape about how people bond out the top of chimneys. There's certain rules that we're supposed to follow, and sometimes I feel like we break them a little bit up here. And I think for the majority, it's kind of okay. But one of the things I try to avoid is stack bond. So I've got, you know, these corner bricks on already, and now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with my next brick here. So you could potentially break the bond here, and split the difference, you know, which, you know, might be okay to do that and put the two little pieces in there. Like I said, I don't get too bent out of shape about it. And then your next brick will come here, like that. And then so we've broken the bond, and it's probably okay. But really, the proper way to do it is something a little different, and I'll show you what that is. So, and some people will just slide this brick like this and put a clip in here, or a clip in here, like that. And if you do it like this, you get a piece here against the edge, which I don't really like, but you know, sometimes maybe it's okay. But now, as we step out, you can see that next brick is getting closer to stack bond. So really, the proper way to do it is to take and you cut the two pieces like this. Okay. You put the joint right in the middle of that. Ideally, this would be a half a brick here, you know, if you play by the rules. You know, that brick, you should have cut this brick too and made sure you get a half brick in there, or actually would cut both of these brick and get a half brick in there like that. And then you would continue the bond like this. This is called broken bond. So this next piece would then go like this, and we have a sufficient break there where we have a little bit more where we're tied in. But yeah, I think that this way, doing it like this, is actually the proper way to do it. We don't always do it like that, and people do it different ways, but this is how I'm going to do this one, just like this. And then, you know, you'll see everything will be broken up properly. All right, guys, I'm going to show you one of the simplest, dumbest tricks I know. And when other people see you do it, they'll like, you know, other masons don't like this, but I do this. I teach everybody, any young masons or apprentices, I teach them to do the same thing. You know, so we've just gone across the top of their leveled it across, and, you know, we move the level right along just so it's nice and flat. And I do the same thing here. When I do this, I'll start at the bottom, especially on the corbels here. I'm going to try to do this and hold this, but you can see I've got a little gap. Shoot, I can't get the level this day, but I've got a little gap here. So I'm going to just put these out till they get to the level, right? So it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to come up and I'm just going to bring it up to the top and slide it up to the top. And so on corbels, this is how you're going to get nice flat work, you know, rather than just kind of roughly putting your level on there and just ranging it across like anybody else would do. Like if you just take the time to do the bottom, get the bottom where it's going to go. And then when it's rolling like that, you can tap it into place. So like if you come down this edge here, it's pretty close until you get to right there, and it's pushing it out off that corner one, right? Well, I don't know if you remember, but the bottom was fine. The bottom's touching there. Okay, so this just means I've got to tap this brick in that back corner to roll it back just a hair. And I'll try to hold it like this with my... And you just give her a little tap, and then it will bring that level in. So that level's now touching this brick here. It's actually really difficult to do this. So, but yeah, quick little trick to try to do nice and flat work. Because if you look at, you know, I see a lot of chimneys and people struggle on the corbels, and the brick all go like this, you know, back and forth, back and forth. But if you just start at the bottom and move your level up, you'll have a nice flat plane and everything will look nice and flat and consistent. This is what no rain in the forecast looks like. Freaking soaked. I just went down to mix a little bit more mud and it just started downpouring. I got some stuff put away and it's still dry back here, but doesn't look like No water's getting in here, but it's like it's just gonna downpour before it clears up, I hope. All my bricks wet now. Nothing dry. There's supposed to be any rain today. Sunshine. Well, I got the brickwork done. I thought the sun was gonna come through, and now it's raining again. So I got that last flue in. I filled all the holes on the top of the brickwork with some mortar, and just gonna go down and mix some concrete, and here we are again. I guess I'm just gonna let it sit for a bit. Maybe I gotta make sure no water's getting in this crease, so I gotta try to figure something out here to make sure water's not gonna get in. Hopefully it doesn't pour. Okay, I was finally able to uncover this thing and get it jointed up. The rain stopped for a bit, so these bricks look like they dried up a bit. The sun hasn't really been out, but you know, these bricks were pretty dry before, but I'm actually not gonna do the I'm not gonna do the bonding agent on the top on this one, just because all the rain that just hit the top. It is starting to dry up a bit, but I maybe could do it, but I think the brick is already damp enough to where it's not gonna suck all the moisture out of this. This is what the bond break looks like. The bond break just has to be something to break the bond between the clay tile here and the concrete crown wash. I use this blue seal stuff. Seems to work pretty good for me. This is this mixes 3-to-1 with the stone dust. You can hear the kind of little stones in there. It's a little gritty. I typically use stone dust for my mix if I can. It's what I prefer to use. I do 3 parts stone dust, 1 part Portland. I also did add the extra mortar that was left over. There's a little bit of mortar left to it. No need having your mortar go to waste. If you got some extra, just throw it in with your crown wash mix. You know, the more Portland you add, the harder it gets. So, I mean, it's basically concrete. You don't need the aggregate up here. It gets very hard to work with. So, like, and you can add a little bit of lime to it too, if you want it to like be a little more stickier, kind of a little rubbery. It's hard to explain, but it gets a little bit more kind of rubbery and stickier and smoother. And so basically, if you have aggregate in here, like little stones, like this one has really small stones, probably up to maybe the biggest one you'd find in that mix is like a 1/4 inch. So not very big, but the whole mix is like crushed up stones and dust. If you put aggregate in here, what happens is when you go to spread this along the edge here, it's very hard to get those rocks down, especially on the edge. This, you know, I feel like I can get that pretty smooth without working too hard. It's so weird looking through a lens trying to do work. But yeah, you know, this is why you wouldn't want to use aggregate, because it's so much more workable if you don't. And the concrete up here is plenty strong enough. It's not like you're not building a house on it. You're just using it to shed water. And in this case, we're going to use this to, you know, we'll use this for our, to mount our stainless cap. I need to add more on this side, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I just rough it out real quick. Get it roughly level. And then we're going to wait for this to set up a bit. And then as it sets up, we'll work it a little bit more. You could have your mix a little stiffer than this if you like. It's not going to dry real quick today, that's for sure. So It's a little cooler today, and it's been damp in the air and a little rain, so I could have mixed it a little drier than this. But the drier you have it, the more crumbly it gets, and the less workable it is. So if you have to just put this on and leave right away, it's best to mix it real dry, kind of like if you're doing a shower pan, like kind of like a real dry type of mix, and then working it, because then it won't. You could leave it and expect to not have cracks, but this has a little moisture in it. So as the moisture dries off, we're gonna have to come back and compress it and make sure it's like we're compressing this and making it smooth so it doesn't crack, And I'm gonna be here for a while still, because I still gotta pull all this stuff and start working the shingles and stuff. So yeah, I'm not worried about it being a little too moist, because I'd rather have it a little workable. Getting these shingles out of here. And look at this poor attempt to ice and water shield here over this cricket. I mean, they got seams and plywood showing. They didn't even try on this one. They just cut back to synthetic and put this over the synthetic. Like, what in the world? And look at this going up the rake here. Like a regular architectural shingle going up the rake. That's crazy. I mean, I don't think they have any down here, but maybe they do. Oh, it overlaps that one, I see. Yeah, so there's no tar strip on this, right? The whole point of doing something like this, I guess, to provide a straight edge too, but this should be a starter strip going up the edge, and the starter strip, the starter strip would be out here like that, and it has tar on it along the whole edge. So when you put your shingle over it, this whole edge is sealed down with tar. I mean, I don't know why somebody would do that. Maybe they just ran out of starter strips and tried to do this to finish up. I don't know. Boy, I had to rush through that. It started sprinkling after I got all these shingles off. So ice and water shield's on. It might not be the prettiest version of ice and water shield I've ever done, but it'll keep water out. I've got the whole top all siliconed, and I've just got some holes here in the roof that we got to worry about if it starts raining. But now that ice and water shield's on around the chimney, I could just take a piece of that wax paper and throw it up under there temporarily if I needed to. Well, that's how I'm gonna leave it. This should be pretty watertight, I would think. I'd probably just tuck some wax paper from the back of the grace up under here a little bit, cover these nail holes, and if any water comes down through there, I'm pretty confident that nothing will leak. The grace comes out, and it comes out on top of a shingle down there. So this area is all covered up. This was what I was worried about. Yeah, I've had enough late nights. It's late enough already. I don't need to work till dark again, so I'm getting ready to clean up and get out of here. I'm going to leave this back open, so when I come up and do the lead around that back there, I won't have to fight with the shingles. Obviously, I stayed way back from where the lead's going to go. I nailed way back in here with the shingles, and I didn't put any little pieces in, so it should be easy to slip my lead up under there, and then when I get to this corner, I won't have to fight with it. I'll just be able to bend it around, and then I'll shingle it through after I get the lead on. I just have to go back up and touch this baby up. It's been sitting for a while, so yeah, it's about that time. Touch that up and I'll be able to get out of here. All right, fellas, I'm gonna try the NMD80 today. Never used it before. I've always used just hydrochloric acid or a type of hydrochloric acid. So I used to get from my supplier just straight hydrochloric acid, and then that supplier is no longer in business. So everybody else carries muriatic acid, which muriatic acid is just a type of hydrochloric acid. It's just an impure type of hydrochloric acid. That's why it's not clear. It's like a yellowish color. And it usually does really great at, cleaning up brickwork. This one doesn't have like a ton of, there's no big chunks on here or whatever. Just haze. I brushed all the big chunks off and now I just have like this haze on here and some whatever. Anyhow, muriatic acid would do a really nice job on this. It wouldn't take hardly any effort. It would come right off. So, but people have been saying, oh, use NMD80, it's the best. And they say it's a lot safer than using a hydrochloric acid. I've never had a problem with hydrochloric acid. It's always been, I've never thought of it as that dangerous. I use my bare hands on it. It splatters, it makes a little bit of a mess. I've never had it affect anything around me, like damage any shingles or siding or whatever. I've always been a little bit careful with it, but it doesn't really scare me. A lot of people use types of hydrochloric acid in, like you put it in your swimming pool water to change the pH, or the food industry uses a lot of it. Like it's, I guess maybe just be a little bit careful with it, but it doesn't scare me. And I've always used it, so I'm comfortable with it. I don't know why this stuff is so good. I guess it's more of a detergent. So I'm going to try it and just see how it does. Keep in mind that this was over $30 for this gallon jug. So that's a lot of money when a jug of acid is probably $10. So I'm just curious to see how it works and what it will do and what the difference is. I've got it mixed in the bucket and I'm just going to apply it with a brush, kind of like I normally would do with muriatic acid. I guess the way to do this is really to power wash it and put it through a power washer. But yeah, so the weird thing about this is people say, use NMD80 instead of hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid. But as you can see here, it contains hydrochloric acid because hydrochloric acid is great at cleaning this stuff. So I'm not going to give it too much of a chance because it's $30-something. And I'm just going to see how it works. And so I'm going to go over it 2 times. So I'm just going to mist this down and lightly damp the brick. It says not to overdo it. This brick was finished being laid yesterday, so it hasn't had a long time to set for the mortar to cure. So I'm gonna damp it down. I'm gonna apply this with the brush, and then I'm gonna wait 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna apply it with the brush again, and then I'm gonna rinse off. So this side's starting to dry up a bit. This side's still got some bubbles on it. So I'm waiting 5 minutes now, and then I'm gonna reapply. Look at that nice little dry spot right there already. So it's worth mentioning that this mix is 4-to-1 because I use Type N mortar. Type N mortar is a 4-to-1 mix when you go to clean it. If you're using Type S mortar, they said use 3-to-1. Yeah, so I'm just trying to finish up on this this lead here. But I mean, as you can see, the chimney's dried, and it actually looks pretty decent. I think that there's a couple spots here and there, but there's always a couple little spots to touch up after. I think the NMD80 actually did pretty good. I didn't scrub on it, and I gotta say it's real comparable to the hydrochloric or muriatic acid. I put my trowels in this NMD80. I had some left over to see how it would do cleaning them. This is the moment of truth. And this trowel is actually disgusting. This is the boys mixer trowel. And oh, that's pretty clean. Don't ask me why I have so many trowels here. Not bad. That one still got some junk on it. I seem to have cleaned everything up. Kind of smells. It smells like acid, actually. Yeah, actually, overall, the NMD80 actually did pretty good. Used it on my my measuring buckets. These are all buckets that I use for measuring out like mix ratios. Although, I was gonna say it kind of burned that. There's some black stuff on the bottom there. I don't know what the heck that is. That might be from, I don't know. These are stainless buckets, and they do get pretty caked up with, you know, like Portland cement and lime. This is what I measure it with. So I did a decent job cleaning everything up, I think. We've gotten all the way up the side and around the corner here. You can see we have an apron piece underneath here. Then this piece comes over. And then what do you do when you get to this spot here, right? So I've just started my valley piece on either side with the shingles. You might look at this and some people might think that they're done here, right? But you can see we don't have much coverage here and we don't have much overlap here either. So I need one more piece. One more piece is gonna go right here, okay? And then it's gonna go centered over that. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you how I usually treat these little crickets in the back. I'll take a piece and I'll put it in like this, okay? If you just bend a little bit up on this edge, you know, like 3/4 of an inch or an inch, you can take a piece and you can bend it right into a peak like this pretty easily. And that going up over the edge like that is going to make a big difference in waterproofing. Yeah, so that will go like that, and then this next piece goes down over top. Not over this directly, but over our cap shingles would be fine. So we do this, and then the next piece, let me just grab a scrap piece of shingle, and I'll show you. So then the next piece of our next valley piece will come in here, something like that, you know, and then I'll cut this so it folds down over the peak, and then the same thing on the other side so it folds down over the peak, and then I'll run this up under here a little bit more. This is how this side ended up, right? You see how the broken bond is shifted to one side. It's not perfectly centered. This is how broken bond ends up a lot of the times. It's not perfectly centered. Usually it's just a little bit off center. This is how the roof is looking. Got the lead done and a little cricket in the back. I did use a piece of lead up under here just because it makes this bend a lot easier than shingles do with the caps coming up. I do have 2 nails coming through the cap because it's really hard to get these cap shingles to stay down where you want them. So that's just going to help hold it down. And also I have this final piece of lead here that goes on top. And this piece of lead is real hard to bend without making it all wrinkly. So it does get wrinkly, but man, it still serves a really good purpose to do it like that. So even though it's a little ugly, nobody will see it, and it just does a really good job shedding water. And then don't forget about this other piece that's under here bent up as well.